Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers and our review of the new Hylo Impact. This is another sustainable running shoe that wants to prove that it can compete with your regular running shoes on performance whilst also being better for the planet. Now the Hylo Impact is a neutral daily trainer built in part from plant-based materials, and it aims to offer the versatility to cover everything from easy miles up to your uptempo efforts. Now Hylo labels this as a high performance meets sustainability shoe. So does it live up to that billing? Well, I've logged more than 50 kilometres in the Hylo Impact to find out. Watch on for my verdict. Some quick details then, starting with stack, and there's 33mm in the heel, 25mm in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. The Hylo Impact weighs in at 9.7 ounces or 276 grams in my UK men's 8.5 test size. Price wise, it's going to come in at £150 or $165. It will be available in specialty run stores from the 4th of March, on the Hylo website from the 10th of March. Let's give you a quick shoe whip round then, starting with the midsole, which has a decent stack of supercritical nitrogen-injected foam with added bio-EVA that's there to increase the responsiveness and reduce weight. Hylo says that this blended foam delivers a 70% rebound, and that midsole is tuned for maximum response, high cushion and moderate support. There's a gentle rocker here too. Inside the shoe as well, you've got a 5mm thick bio-based foam moulded insole to add to the overall comfort. Up top, the Impact features a lightweight knitted upper made from 100% bio-based nylon derived from castor beans. It's very soft and very pliable. It also has a DWR coating to help with water repellency. There's a medium padded gusseted tongue, medium padded heel collars. Everything up top here is very soft and very pliable and very flexible. Now flip them over, and the outside has an interesting design here with these sweeps of 2.5mm thick, 60% natural rubber that Hylo says they're inspired by Formula One tyres and their ability to displace water and increase traction. There are cutouts here as well to reduce the overall weight of that outsole, but also to increase the ground contact when things get wet and slippy. Fit then, and in testing I ran in a UK 8.5, which is my regular running shoe size in most brands, and I describe the fit here as snug and wrapping but flexible and unrestricted. The heel hold and the midfoot lockdown feels nicely secure, though you do have to work a little to get everything to sit right on your foot, particularly up here at the sort of base of the toes. Once you do though, because there's so much flex and softness in these uppers here, you've got this feeling of the sort of toe box is almost slipper-like. There's really loads of wiggle room there. And I said it in our first run, and it's still true after more miles. They remind me some ways of the old kind of Nike Free shoes. Now, if you like a lot of structure in your uppers, these might not be entirely for you. They do feel, a bit unstructured. But overall, based on the runs that I've done in them, I really quite enjoyed the fit, and I would say go true to size in these. Now in testing, I've logged 50 kilometres in the Hylo Impact. That includes some very slow and very laboured efforts on tired legs, easy efforts after hard training days, like the 5k I just did after a solo marathon 3 days ago. But I've also pushed the tempo here with a taxing half marathon training workout in the shoes, where I hit intervals at half marathon pace and beyond. Now I've covered road and some river paths as usual, and I've done those kind of park paths, sort of light off-road stuff too. The first thing to say though with this shoe is that I had to work initially to get them sitting right on my foot. It wasn't an instantly disappearing feel when I first slid my foot into them, but that comfort came over time as I got more used to the fact that the uppers are so sock-like and flexible. Once you get moving, you realise how much of a step on these shoes are from the previous Hylo run, which I tested a while back. There's a video on the channel if you want to have a look at that now. But like many sustainable shoes, those Hylo runs were very, very firm. But the midsole here in the Impact is very soft and really quite different to any other eco shoe that I've tested. You can feel there's a more cushioned springiness to this the moment you start walking around in them. And once you get up and moving in terms of the ride, I found the midsole offered a really good combination of protection with some bounce and energy coming back at the same time. The feeling here is it's sinky, but it's not too sinky. However, the midsole here is quite pliable across the board. And on the slower miles, I personally wanted a little bit more stiffness in the shoe from landing to sort of toe off, to help that midsole feel like it's sort of moving in unison from heel to toe. I felt there was a sort of mild disconnect at times where it was almost a kind of a bit of a wobble in there. When I was landing a little more flat-footed, that was accentuated. or if I was landing kind of further back into the hill. I wanted more roll through and more immediacy that you get with some stiffer, sort of snappier shoes, and just a bit more control overall. However, if you've been longing for soft, cushioned and somewhat lively riding in a more eco shoe, the Hylo Impact fit that brief really nicely, and that'll be a big tick for a lot of runners who've been put off by firmer midsole shoes in these kind of more sustainable shoe bracket before. What surprised me most though was how the ride improved when I started to move things up through the gears. The Hylo Impact midsole really came to life when I started to run mid to forefoot with more locked in form and, attacking my run at faster paces, particularly the half marathon pace. There was more immediacy in the return from the midsole when I was sort of landing mid to forefoot, not relying on the roll through. And while they might not be my first choice for up-tempo sessions, I think this is one of the first sustainable shoes that I've enjoyed running fast in. It has one drawback on that front though, I think, and that's the weight. At just under 10 ounces, it's in the Brooks Ghost Max ballpark, so it's not really a shoe that you'd sort of tend to reach for in terms of weight for those pacier efforts. I had concerns also that the uppers and the heel collars and the tongues might lose shape because of that lack of structure. I thought they might lose shape quite quickly and that might affect the overall durability. But so far after those miles, there's no signs of that actually. Verdict then, and the Hylo Impact has left me a bit conflicted really. There's a lot to like here and it's one of the best sort of eco-credential running shoes that I've run in to date. There's a slipper-like comfort combined with quite a punchy midsole that offers plenty of road protection and a good amount of energy compared to sort of past generations of these shoes. While most previous sustainably minded shoes have tended to only go for or be good for short and slow runs because they're so firm, the Hylo Impact are cushioned enough for easy cruising and lively enough to handle faster efforts too. What holds them back a bit is the overall weight, and if you like a stiffer rocket ride, the midsole does tend to feel a little bit spongy, particularly at that kind of clip along easier pace. Now when you're up on your forefoot moving with a high turnover and some precision in your foot strike, it helps to engage the midsole a bit more. You do feel the spring. The nitrogen infused midsole is plenty lively. I just think they could benefit maybe from a plate or even a stiffer outsole, something to keep everything a little bit more connected from heel to toe. Now I said it in my first run verdict and it's true after more miles. There's a huge amount of competition in this daily trainer space and there are better shoes for top end workouts and I think also for easy runs. But if you take the environmental concerns kind of out of the equation, there are certainly shoes that I'd probably reach for before the Impact. But having said that, the Hylo Impact is definitely an upgrade on the Hylo Run and on a lot of other sustainable shoes, and it changes what we can now begin to expect when it comes to performance from shoes that are shooting for better sustainability. We're sort of getting onto the right path, and I salute Hylo for pushing this forward. I think they know very well that performance is a non-negotiable. People will ultimately only lace up shoes that work regardless of the kind of what the materials are made for, and this takes us a step closer, I think, to having to not make that compromise. So there you have it. That's my review of the Hylo Impact. I hope you found it informative and helpful. Don't forget to like, share, maybe even subscribe if you did. If you're interested in shoes that are trying to wean us off the fossil fuels, I'm going to pop a video up on the channel that you should watch now. Otherwise, it's been fantastic to talk to you as ever on the Run Testers here. We hope to see you again soon, and happy running, people.